Hello everybody, and welcome to Phasmophobia, a co-op ghost hunting game that has massive potential to make you absolutely crap your pants. You start off in the lobby, like so. You have different options between trading, play, item store. This is what the play lobby looks like. You get to create a public lobby, you can create a private lobby, or you can join a private game. Once you're in, you can choose different maps with different difficulties. There are currently 3 different difficulties: amateur, intermediate, and professional. Bunch of different maps, different situations. You can have 4 people in your lobby at a time. For the sake of this video, I'm going to show you can actually do it solo as well. However, I will say that this game absolutely shines when you play with other teammates. When you have friends to play with, it's so much more fun. You guys can cover more ground, bring in more items, tackle different objectives. It also allows for great moments like this.
Oh, fuck me, a sword gun, fuck this shit!
It's just a lot of fun that way, but so is solo. Once you have your lobby, you can go to the item store and add in a bunch of different equipment that you can actually buy in this store. And then once you do that, you can go add items to your equipment list. And for beginners, I'd recommend a thermometer. It's just really easy and it doesn't cost much, but you need to get a few games before you can spend some money. And once you do that, hit ready up, click start. Easy, we're in. Already you see we have total activity, sound sensors. This is the map of the house, and to go through different floors, you hit the white button on the left, and the green symbol, that's your power breaker. We got team sanity. This is the board with optional objectives of what to do. It'll say the name of the ghost and whether or not they like to be spoken to alone or with everyone. Here is your computer. This is where you monitor your cameras. You hit the keyboard to go to night vision. You also hit the mouse to switch between different cameras once you get them set up. You grab that key and that allows you to go into the building and unlock it. First, I like to start off with a flashlight, grab that. I like to grab a thermometer and also an EMF reader. These are really good basic beginner tools for people. Here you can see we have a journal with different evidence slots, different ghost types, different pictures. There are currently 12 different ghosts in it that you can track with different evidence and all that kind of thing. So we'll get into more about that later. You can actually equip an item and press T. As long as you have the flashlight in your inventory, you press T and you'll get the light up. That 5-minute timer won't start counting down until we're in the actual house. As soon as we get in the house though, we got 5 minutes of time to try and track where we're going, and the ghost isn't able to haunt us in that time. So as soon as you get in, you're gonna want to take out your thermometer and just read the temperatures around rooms. If you see any dip below 10 degrees Celsius in temperature, that means where the ghost is in that area. And just while you're looking around, look for lockers, look for places to hide, because these can be handy to go back to later on. You don't want to get caught out in the open. Once a hunt starts, you have 5 seconds. You'll see your flashing light. Once your light starts to flash, you have 5 seconds to get somewhere to hide, or else you get caught out in the open, you're dead. It's also important to note that when a hunt is actually happening, you have to stay hidden and you can't talk in your microphone. The actual ghost tracks what you say in the microphone, and it will figure out where you are based on what you're saying in the microphone and figure out your location and open the locker. So don't do that. Stay silent, and you can't talk over radio or comms while a hunt is happening. You have to wait for your lights to stop flashing. Once your light is full again, you're fine to leave. If you die, this is what happens. Yeah, you want to try and avoid that at all costs. This is what it looks like once you're dead in the afterlife. You can actually see different things. And it's important to note though, once you're dead, you can't actually communicate with the rest of your team. Once you die, you also lose any items that you brought in with you. You can't get them back. Your team can't retrieve them. They can't leave with them. Once you're dead, that's it. You can't communicate with your team and you lose any items that you brought in with you. Same goes for anyone else that dies. Anyway, back to it. Try and find where the breaker is. It's important to try and get that back if it keeps turning off later on. As you can see, we're in this room. It's negative temperatures already, so that means freezing temps. As you can see, our cold breath, freezing temperatures. Checked our EMF really quickly, and you see we're getting a level 5. So already we have 2 lots of different evidence for 2 different slots. We have EMF 5 and we have freezing temperatures. So once we get that down, we can see what ghost we're dealing with. It's a phantom or a banshee. And for a banshee, we need fingerprints. And for a phantom, we need ghost orbs. The different kinds of evidence in this game is 1, freezing temperatures, 2 ghost orbs, 3 EMF level 5, 4 spirit box, 5 fingerprints, and 6 ghost writing.
What a nerd. He knows how to write.
So in order to figure out if it's a phantom or a banshee, we need to try and set up a camera so we can see ghost orbs. And we also need to try and find fingerprints with a UV light. So we're just going to get this in the house. And I also noticed a bone in the corner here. You can actually take pictures of different bones and stuff like that as evidence. You take a picture of it, it'll come up as bone evidence in the photos. You get extra money for that, then pick it up. These are other things you can take pictures of, like the Ouija board, dirty water. You can take pictures of anything that can be used as evidence, spirit writing, fingerprints, EMF readings, pictures of dead bodies, things that get thrown across the room, stuff like that. All right, we got our camera in there. We're going to come back and get our UV flashlight. You can see the timing down before it starts to hunt. Our activity spiked up to a 10 there, so we got to get in there. All right, so we're going to place our camera here, try and get a nice angle to see ghost orbs if we need to, and use our UV flashlight. You can see we got fingerprints already, so that already means we've got the last piece of evidence. So it is a banshee. All right, this is where you focus on your objectives. We know what it is. We have some objectives left to do. So we're going to try and get the cross one, where I like to bring in a glow stick with the cross in case something happens. And that way you can always track down where the cross is placed, even if the lights go out. All right, we're up here. You can see the EMS going off. We're going to place down our glow stick and then press G to throw down our crucifix. And what this actually allows you to do is once you place down a crucifix to prevent a hunt from occurring, you can essentially prevent a hunt from occurring within 3 meters of the crucifix for most ghosts, but 6 meters away from a banshee, because banshees specifically fear the crucifix. So as long as a hunt triggers around within that area of effect of a crucifix, it should prevent it from occurring, and it'll help get that objective off the board. It's also important to note that if you turn on too many lights in the house at once, the breaker will trigger and it'll actually turn red. So it'll shut off all the lights in the house if you turn on too many at once. So you can have a certain amount of lights on until you start to piss off the ghost, and then the ghost will start turning it off and messing around with you and your team. But just remember that if you put on too many lights, to come back to the breaker room, put it back on so it's green, and that way you can turn on a certain amount of lights before it triggers again, or before the ghost turns it off. It's actually really important for your sanity levels to stay up. You want to be in the light as much as possible. If you stay in the dark for too long in the house, and your sanity levels start to decrease, or if you're around the ghost too long, your sanity levels will start to decrease as well. So try and stay in the light as often as you can, unless you have no choice. And if your sanity levels dip really low, then you become a target for the ghost, and they can actually kill you a bit easier. So stay in the light and keep an eye on it. As you can see, it's already dropped quite a bit. So we can actually take sanity pills here. This is an item you unlock later on, and it increases your sanity levels by about 40%. One thing I also want to talk about here is how to use smudge sticks and what they do. So you'll need a lighter and you'll need your smudge stick. And essentially what a smudge stick does is when things start to get pretty dicey, or a ghost is pretty active in an area, you have to equip it, press F, and that will light it. Then you need to press G to place it on a floor, and that'll cleanse the area, and that will essentially delay you being a target from the ghost for a certain period of time so you can hide. I also want to talk about the dreaded objective, the dirty sink water. Generally, the dirty sink water only shows up if a ghost is haunting around that specific area or across from a bathroom. It can be really hard to try and get that objective done sometimes, so don't stress if you can't do it. It only happens in certain areas. Also, don't stress if you can't do all the objectives. Just do what you can and leave, because sometimes it's not worth the extra money to lose all your gear. And for those of you that didn't know, you can also interact with the Ouija board by hitting it with your mouse one button and turning it on. Once you see the lights glow, that means you can interact with it. You can ask it certain questions like so. How many people are here? Just know that the more you interact with it and the longer you stare at the Ouija board, it rapidly decreases your sanity, and it also pisses off the ghosts as well. So don't use it for too long. Sometimes not all ghosts interact with it. Sometimes only certain ghosts do. So just be aware of that. Now, before you actually leave the game, you need to double check your evidence in the back of your journal. You need to make sure everyone's done it in your team, or else they won't get certain experience or anything as well. Before you leave, double check you got all the same evidence, the same ghost and all that stuff before you actually hit the little numpad there and leave, because your whole team will miss out on experience if you don't do it. As you can see, we got it right. It was a banshee. We got extra money for the photos we took and the evidence. Now, I obviously didn't do every objective, but for the purpose of this video, I just wanted to show you guys a few different things, how you can do certain objectives, what you should focus on, and just a simple beginner's guide for what you guys should use if you jump into this game for the first time. So thank you so much for watching. If you do like the video, I would love it if you guys would help me out and just like the video, subscribe to the channel. I also stream on Twitch 5 days a week where you guys can come in. You can ask any questions you like. I'll usually be playing this game or Dead by Daylight. And thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Hope you guys have a lovely day or night. Take care.